They're planning every step, calculating every move, and yet they're not just preparing to get closer. They're also getting ready for the worst. Why would someone go through so much trouble just to approach you? What is it about you that makes them feel both drawn and cautious at the same time? This isn't just curiosity or simple attraction. It's deeper, more complex, and rooted in emotions they might not even understand themselves. They're not just strategizing. They're wrestling with fears, doubts, and a need to protect themselves from something they can't fully control. Their feelings for you. They're torn between the desire to connect and the fear of getting hurt, rejected, or misunderstood. This emotional conflict is making them carefully map out every step toward you while simultaneously building walls in case things go wrong. They're preparing for every possible outcome, good or bad, because they don't want to leave anything to chance. They fear vulnerability, yet they're driven by an intense need to be closer to you. The thought of losing you or messing things up haunts them, pushing them to strategize in ways you wouldn't expect. This is not just about making a move. It's about protecting themselves from the pain of disappointment or rejection. But why all this caution? Why the need for so much preparation? The answer lies in their perception of you. They see you as someone significant, someone who has the power to affect them deeply. You represent something valuable, maybe even irreplaceable, and that scares them. The stakes are high and they know it. They're afraid of messing up because they know the consequences could be devastating, not just for their ego, but for their heart and soul. That's why they're preparing for the worst. They want to be ready for any outcome, to protect themselves from emotional pain while still daring to reach out to you. They're trapped between hope and fear, courage and caution. And this emotional tug-of-war is driving their every action, every thought, every strategy. But there's something they don't realize. In their attempt to prepare for the worst, they might be creating exactly what they fear. Their cautious approach, their guarded heart and their overthinking could be the very things that complicate the connection they're longing for. The irony is that the more they strategize, the more they risk losing the spontaneity and authenticity that could bring them closer to you. Their fears are building walls even as their heart yearns to break them down. And that's the conflict they're wrestling with, the battle between their heart's desires and their mind's fears. They're on the edge of making a move, yet they hesitate. They want to get closer, but they're also preparing for the possibility that things might not go as planned. This inner conflict is creating a complex web of strategies and counter-strategies, all designed to protect themselves from pain while still reaching out to you. They want you to understand them, to see their vulnerability, but they're also terrified of exposing themselves too much. They don't want to appear weak, needy, or desperate. They're afraid that showing their true feelings might push you away or make them look foolish. So they play it safe, calculating their every move to maintain control over the situation. But deep down they know that love and connection require vulnerability. They know that no amount of planning or strategizing can guarantee a perfect outcome. Yet they cling to their strategies because it makes them feel safe, even if it also keeps them distant. They're fighting a battle within themselves, torn between the fear of getting hurt and the hope of finding happiness with you. And this emotional struggle is what drives their every action, every word, every decision. They're preparing for the worst because they're afraid to hope for the best. But the truth is, without hope, without vulnerability, they might never get the chance to experience the connection they truly desire. And that's the paradox they're living with, wanting to get closer, but being too afraid to risk it. They're trapped in their own mind, overthinking every possibility, every outcome, every reaction, and until they find the courage to face their fears, they'll remain stuck in this cycle of hope and hesitation, strategy and caution. If you don't see through their strategies, you might misinterpret their actions entirely. You might think they're indifferent or playing games when, in reality, they're battling intense emotions and fears. This misunderstanding could lead you to react in ways that push them further away, reinforcing their fears and making them retreat even more. You might assume they don't care or that they're just not interested, but the truth is far more complex. They care deeply, maybe more than they're ready to admit, even to themselves. But their fear of getting hurt is making them hold back, causing them to appear distant, cold, or even manipulative. If you don't understand their internal struggle, you might respond with frustration, anger, or even indifference, thinking they're just playing mind games. But in doing so, you could unknowingly confirm their worst fears, that they're unlovable, that opening up is too risky, and that it's safer to stay guarded and distant. This cycle of misunderstanding can lead to a heartbreaking scenario where two people who genuinely care about each other end up hurting one another due to miscommunication and fear. You might push them away without realizing that their guarded behavior is a defense mechanism, not a reflection of their true feelings. The stakes are high because if you react without understanding their fears, you could miss the opportunity for a meaningful connection. You could end up building walls of your own, closing off your heart and walking away, thinking it was never meant to be. But the reality is, it could have been something beautiful if only the fears and misunderstandings were addressed. This is why it's crucial to look beyond their actions and see the emotional conflict driving their behavior. If you don't, you might misjudge their intentions, leading to emotional pain, regret, and the loss of a potentially deep and meaningful relationship. You could walk away, thinking they never cared, while they're left believing they were right, to protect themselves from rejection and hurt. Both of you could end up with broken hearts, all because of unspoken fears and misunderstood intentions. This is the risk of not recognizing their strategy for what it truly is, a protective mechanism, to shield themselves from pain. They're not playing games, they're trying to protect their heart. But if you don't see through their walls, you might misinterpret their caution as indifference, leading to unnecessary heartache for both of you. The consequences of this misunderstanding could be long-lasting, affecting how you both approach future relationships. They might become even more guarded, convinced that vulnerability only leads to pain. And you might carry the hurt of feeling unwanted or unimportant, not realizing that they cared more than they could express. This is the high cost of misunderstanding their strategies. It's not just about a missed opportunity, it's about emotional scars that could last long after the moment has passed. That's why it's crucial to see beyond the surface and understand the fears that are driving their actions. By doing so, you not only protect your heart, but also give them the space to feel safe enough to open up. And when that happens, the connection that seemed impossible suddenly becomes a beautiful reality. But it all depends on whether you can see through their strategies and understand the emotional turmoil they're experiencing. At the heart of their strategy is emotional conflict. They're caught between wanting to get closer to you and fearing the pain that might come with it. This isn't just about strategic moves or calculated actions. It's about protecting themselves from vulnerability. Their mind tells them to be cautious, to play it safe, to avoid getting hurt. But their heart is pulling them toward you, longing for connection, acceptance, and love. This internal battle is what's driving their every action, every word, and every decision. They want to be close, but they don't want to get hurt. They want to open up, but they're afraid of rejection. And this emotional push and pull is what makes their behavior seem confusing and contradictory. They're not playing games, they're just scared of getting hurt. Behind every calculated move and guarded behavior lies a deeper hidden motive. They are not just strategizing to get closer, they're also protecting themselves from the emotional risks that come with vulnerability. They fear exposing their true feelings because they're afraid of rejection, judgment, or even abandonment. It's not that they don't care. It's that they care too much, and that scares them. Their motives are rooted in past experiences that have shaped their beliefs about love, trust, and connection. They might have been hurt before, left feeling vulnerable and exposed. Those old wounds have taught them to be cautious, to guard their heart and to protect themselves from emotional pain. Now they approach love like a battlefield, strategizing every step to avoid getting hurt again. They want to reach out to you, but they're constantly weighing the risks. What if they open up and you don't feel the same way? What if they express their feelings and end up looking foolish or needy? What if they give their heart only to have it broken once more? These questions haunt them, making them second-guess every action, every word, and every gesture. Their hidden motive is self-preservation. They're not trying to manipulate you or play games. They're just trying to protect themselves from emotional pain. But this protective instinct is also what's keeping them distant, cautious, and guarded. They're trying to control the outcome by strategizing every move, but in doing so, they're also holding themselves back from experiencing real connection. They want to feel safe before they open up. They need to know that you won't judge them, reject them, or hurt them. This need for safety is what's driving their cautious approach. They're testing the waters, looking for signs that it's okay to be vulnerable, to be themselves, to let down their guard. But until they feel secure, they'll continue to strategize, to play it safe, and to keep their true feelings hidden. Their hidden motive is to avoid pain, but ironically, this is also what's causing them pain. They're torn between the desire to connect and the fear of getting hurt. This emotional conflict is the root of their hesitation, their guarded behavior, and their strategic moves. They want to get closer to you, but they're also trying to protect themselves from the possibility of heartbreak. This is why their actions might seem confusing, inconsistent, or even contradictory. One moment, they seem warm and interested, and the next they're distant and aloof. It's not that they're playing with your feelings, it's that they're wrestling with their own. Their fear of vulnerability is making them cautious, calculating, and careful. They're constantly analyzing your words, your actions, and your reactions, looking for clues about how you feel. They're trying to read between the lines, to figure out if it's safe to let down their guard. This overthinking is what's driving their strategic behavior. They're trying to protect themselves from the unknown, from the fear of getting hurt, from the risk of emotional pain. But here's the paradox. The more they try to protect themselves, the more they risk losing the connection they desire. Their hidden motives, born out of fear and self-preservation, are also the barriers that are keeping them from truly connecting with you. They're trying to control the outcome, but in doing so, they're also holding themselves back from experiencing the love and connection they crave. The truth is, they're afraid of getting hurt because they care about you more than they're ready to admit. Their guarded behavior is not a sign of indifference, it's a sign of emotional investment. They're strategizing because they don't want to lose you, but their fear of vulnerability is making them cautious and guarded. They're stuck in a cycle of hope and fear, wanting to get closer, but being too afraid to take the risk. This emotional conflict is the hidden motive behind their every action, every word, and every strategy. They're trying to protect their heart, but in doing so, they're also keeping you at a distance. From a spiritual perspective, their fear and strategic behavior are rooted in a disconnection from their true self. They are acting out of fear because they are not fully aligned with their inner truth. In spirituality, fear is often seen as an illusion, a false perception created by the mind. Their cautious approach is a reflection of their inner fears, not of who they truly are. They are afraid of getting hurt because they are identified with their ego, which seeks safety, security, and control. The ego is constantly trying to protect itself from pain, rejection, and vulnerability. This is why they are strategizing every move, trying to control the outcome to avoid emotional pain. But from a spiritual perspective, this control is just an illusion. True safety comes from within, from connecting with their higher self and trusting the journey. Their fear is a reflection of their wounded inner child, a part of them that still carries the pain of past experiences. This inner child is afraid of being hurt again, of feeling rejected or abandoned. This fear is what's driving their strategic behavior. They're trying to protect this vulnerable part of themselves by staying guarded and cautious. But spirituality teaches us that healing comes from embracing vulnerability, not avoiding it. By facing their fears and healing their inner child, they can break free from the cycle of fear and strategy. They need to reconnect with their heart, to listen to their intuition, and to trust that love is stronger than fear. This spiritual growth is the key to breaking free from their cautious approach and opening up to genuine connection. Their fear is also a reflection of their limited perspective. They are seeing the situation through the lens of fear, doubt, and insecurity, but from a higher perspective, there is no need to fear vulnerability or emotional pain. Every experience is a lesson, a part of their spiritual journey. If they could see this, they would realize that there is nothing to be afraid of, and they would feel safe enough to open their heart. Spiritually, their strategy is a defense mechanism created by their ego to avoid pain. But this defense is also blocking them from experiencing true love and connection. To break free from this pattern, they need to let go of their fears, to surrender their need for control, and to trust in the process of life. They need to realize that love is not a battlefield, but a journey of growth, healing, and self-discovery. Fear is teaching them an important spiritual lesson, to let go of control and to embrace vulnerability. It's a lesson in surrender, trust, and faith. They are being called to let down their guard, to stop strategizing, and to open their heart. But to do this, they need to heal their inner wounds and reconnect with their true self. This is a spiritual awakening for them, a journey of healing and self-discovery. They are being guided to face their fears, to heal their past, and to step into their authentic self. Their strategy is not just about protecting themselves, it's about learning to trust, to love, and to be vulnerable. From a spiritual perspective, their journey is not just about getting closer to you, it's about getting closer to themselves. They are being called to heal, to grow, and to evolve. And as they do, they will realize that love is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. They are learning that true love requires vulnerability, trust, and faith. And once they learn this lesson, they will no longer need to strategize or protect themselves. They will feel safe enough to open their heart and to connect with you on a deeper, more spiritual level. This is their spiritual journey, their lesson in love, trust, and vulnerability. And once they learn it, they will be free to connect with you without fear, without strategy, and without hesitation. You play a powerful role in their strategy, more than you might realize. They are not just reacting to their own fears, they are also reacting to you. Your actions, words, and energy influence their every move, their every thought, and their every decision. You are the catalyst that drives their strategy because you represent something they deeply desire yet deeply fear. They see you as someone who can either heal or hurt them, someone who holds the power to bring them joy or pain. This perception is what makes them so cautious, so strategic, and so guarded. They are trying to protect themselves from the potential pain of losing you or being rejected by you. This fear is what drives their overthinking, their calculated actions, and their hesitancy. Your role in their strategy is that of a mirror. You reflect back to them their deepest fears and desires. You trigger their insecurities and their hopes, making them feel vulnerable in ways they are not accustomed to. This vulnerability scares them, but it also draws them to you. They are both afraid of and attracted to the emotional depth they feel around you. You are not just someone they are interested in. You are someone who challenges their comfort zone. You make them question their beliefs about love, trust, and vulnerability. You make them confront their fears, their doubts, and their past wounds. This emotional intensity is why they are so cautious and why they feel the need to strategize. Every move, your energy affects their confidence and their sense of security. When you are open, warm, and receptive, they feel safe to express themselves. But when you are guarded, distant, or indifferent, they feel insecure and hesitant. They are highly sensitive to your emotional state because they care deeply about how you perceive them. Your actions and reactions shape their approach. If you seem interested, they feel hopeful and encouraged. But if you appear distant or detached, they begin to doubt themselves, leading to overthinking and hesitation. They are constantly analyzing your behavior, trying to decode your feelings and intentions. This overanalysis makes them cautious, calculating, and strategic. They are trying to match your energy, to respond in a way that keeps them safe from rejection or embarrassment. They don't want to be too vulnerable, too eager, or too emotional, because they fear it might push you away. They are carefully balancing between showing interest and maintaining control over their emotions. You are the reason they are preparing for the worst. They fear losing you, disappointing you, or being rejected by you. This fear makes them cautious, guarded, and strategic. They are trying to protect themselves from the emotional pain that could come from misreading your intentions or misjudging your feelings. Your role is not to change them, but to understand them. They are not playing games. They are just trying to protect themselves from emotional pain. If you can see through their strategy and understand their fears, you can create a safe space for them to open up. Your empathy and understanding can help them feel secure enough to be vulnerable. Your patience and compassion can break down their walls and help them feel safe to express their true feelings. You have the power to influence their actions, not by manipulating them, but by showing them that it's safe to be themselves. By being genuine, open, and understanding, you can help them overcome their fears and embrace vulnerability. Your role is to show them that love is not a battlefield, but a place of trust, acceptance, and emotional safety. You have the power to transform their fears into courage, their doubts into trust, and their hesitancy into emotional freedom. You are the key to helping them break free from their fears and embrace the connection they desire. Before you can influence their emotional state, you must first protect and strengthen your own. Spiritual preparation is about grounding yourself in love, peace, and emotional stability. This means cultivating inner strength so that you are not affected by their fears, hesitations, or strategic behaviors. Start by grounding yourself daily. This could be through meditation, deep breathing, or simply spending time in nature. Grounding helps you stay emotionally balanced, protecting you from absorbing their anxieties or fears. When you are centered and calm, you are less likely to react impulsively or emotionally to their guarded behavior. Practice emotional detachment, not in a way that makes you cold or indifferent, but in a way that keeps you emotionally safe. Emotional detachment means loving them without getting entangled in their fears, insecurities, or strategic actions. It allows you to see their behavior without taking it personally or reacting defensively. Focus on cultivating compassion and empathy. Understand that their strategic behavior is not about you. It's about their own fears and emotional conflicts. They are not being distant or guarded to hurt you. They are doing it to protect themselves. When you see their behavior through the lens of compassion, you can respond with patience and understanding instead of frustration or anger. Protect your energy by setting emotional boundaries. This means being kind and loving without sacrificing your emotional well-being. If their guarded behavior makes you feel anxious or insecure, take a step back and ground yourself. Don't let their fears and hesitations affect your emotional state. Use affirmations to protect your energy and maintain emotional balance. Affirmations like, "I am grounded, secure, and emotionally balanced," or "I choose love, compassion, and understanding," can help you stay centered. These affirmations will strengthen your emotional state, allowing you to respond with love instead of reacting out of fear or insecurity. Visualize yourself surrounded by a protective light, a spiritual shield that guards your energy from negativity or emotional pain. This visualization technique helps you stay emotionally strong and grounded, no matter how they behave or react. It keeps you from getting emotionally entangled in their fears or strategic behaviors. Your spiritual preparation is about maintaining emotional balance, empathy, and love. It allows you to respond to their behavior with understanding, patience, and compassion. This emotional stability is what creates a safe space for them to open up and express their true feelings. Staying centered is crucial because it keeps you emotionally strong and resilient, regardless of their actions or behaviors. When you are centered, you're not easily affected by their fears, hesitations, or strategic moves. You can see through their guarded behavior without taking it personally or reacting defensively. Emotional centeredness gives you clarity. It helps. You see the situation for what it truly is, a reflection of their fears and insecurities, not a reflection of your worth or value. This clarity protects you from reacting out of insecurity, frustration, or emotional pain. By staying centered, you disrupt the cycle of fear and hesitation. When they sense your emotional stability, they feel safer to open up. Your calm energy makes them feel secure, easing their fears and allowing them to trust the connection. Your emotional strength becomes their safe space. Staying centered also protects you from their emotional ups and downs. You are not affected by their cautious behavior, hesitations, or strategic moves because you are grounded in your own emotional security. This emotional resilience allows you to respond with love, patience, and understanding. Their strategic behavior is not about manipulation or indifference. It's about fear, vulnerability, and emotional conflict. They are trying to protect themselves from pain, even as they long to connect with you. Understanding this truth allows you to see beyond their guarded actions and into the heart of their emotional struggle. Your role is to be the safe space they need to feel secure enough to open up. By staying centered, grounded, and compassionate, you help them overcome their fears and embrace vulnerability. Your love, patience, and empathy are the keys to breaking down their walls and allowing them to connect with you on a deeper level. This journey is about more than just getting closer. It's about healing, growth, and emotional freedom. When you understand their fears and respond with love, you create the opportunity for a beautiful connection built on trust, compassion, and authenticity. And that is the most powerful strategy of all.